Hello and welcome to No More Shame. I've been thinking lately, when I say lately, the last couple days, I guess, few days, about taking responsibility for your actions. What I mean by that is, well, I guess it's pretty self-explanatory there. When either you say or do something, that you take responsibility for what you have done, whether that be good or bad, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, simply because I find that, and I'm guilty of this, when it comes to stories and telling people of a situation that happens, people more often than not tend to put themselves in the best light in the story. For example, somebody cuts you off while you're driving, and you make it seem like they're the worst person in the world for what they have done, and I was doing absolutely nothing wrong. And it's like, well, had their blinker been on for a while? Was there enough space for you guys for that person to actually cross over and get in front of you? It's things like that, taking responsibility, and that's a poor example. Let's look at breakups. That's a better example in my mind. When two people break up, there's obviously two sides of the stories. And I've seen it where I've had two friends break up, and from the one side of the story, one participant of the breakup, they've done absolutely nothing wrong. They were perfect, and what they did was they handled it so well. And then I've heard from the other part of the participant of the breakup, and it's the complete opposite. That person was horrible. They did this. I did this. It's like you hear two different stories. To the point where you're like, well, who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? What actually happened? So I think it's important for us to take responsibility for our actions, because I think it removes guilt off of our shoulders, or doesn't make us a liar, but also it shows the kind of character that we are, and it shows people that we are honest in all of our dealings. I have a couple examples here in my own life that I've been pondering over, and oddly enough, as I've been pondering over this, I just had just yesterday. So I'm in the master's program for social work, and I was supposed to pay a $200 fee before summer registration, which is opening this weekend. And I thought I had taken care of it. I thought I'd paid it. And yesterday I was checking my mailbox, and there was a letter stating that I hadn't paid it yet, and if I had not reached out to them by April 6th, I would be kicked out of the program and someone else would be placed in over me. And I went into this panic. I checked my bank statements and everything. I got on my online banking to see if I had paid, and as it turned out, I hadn't actually paid. And so, rather than coming up with some excuse, some story, some reasoning as to why I had not actually paid, I emailed the social work secretary for my university. I apologized to them and simply explained that I thought I had paid, but it turns out I had not, and that I would still like to be in the program, that I had dropped the ball on my end. And not only that, but I reached out to the director of the social work program, a doctor, who's been my academic advisor for years before she became the director of the social work master's program. And I reached out to her as well, and I apologized to her. And again, I explained that it's my bad, I dropped the ball, and if possible, I would still like to be in the social work program and to be able to complete my master's degree starting this fall. But I didn't make excuses. I didn't give reasoning as to why I simply explained that I had dropped the ball, that it's on my fault, and I apologized for it. Whether or not I still get to be in the social work program, we'll find out. But on my end, as much as it sucks about what's happened, that was my fault. I did not do what I was supposed to do. And so I took action for my responsibilities. I reached out to apologize, and I showed them that this was my bad. It's not anyone else's bad. I can't get mad at them. They did nothing wrong. They gave me plenty of time to pay that. I should have been more thoughtful and double-checked sooner before the deadline had hit. Another example, one that I can actually share the outcome of what's happened to kind of demonstrate the good in taking responsibility for our actions. And, not every situation, even when we take responsibility for our actions, it doesn't always mean that the outcome's going to be great. It doesn't. It may not actually work out for us in the end, but it comes more about your moral character and who you want people to see you as, who you want people to know that you actually are. And then my second story, I used to work at America First Credit Union. I was a teller there. And someone had opened an account that day, deposited quite a bit of money, and then they came back later on in that same day and wanted to withdraw most of it. And that's a red flag. Typically that means that something's not right. And so I asked this person some questions to kind of verify why they were withdrawing the funds. I had a supervisor come out, the assistant manager come out. They looked over it before they made a decision. One of the lead tellers got back from their lunch break, and the assistant manager had them look over it and then kind of said, it's up to you now to make the decision to the lead teller, and I was approved to allow this person to take their money out. Turns out that the check was faulty, that it was a scam, and so this person who thought they were doing something right actually now was in the hole because that check didn't actually go through, and so now they had an account negative and they just barely opened it. And it turned into this whole fiasco, and I got pulled into the manager's office, and right away I sat down, and I had a pretty good relationship with him, but I just said, look, I understand what's happened. I could have made a better judgment call, and whatever needs to happen can happen. And my manager right away was just like, oh, like, you're not in trouble at all. You've done exactly what you were supposed to do. You reached out to everyone. You followed the steps that you were supposed to in a situation like this, so you are not at fault at all here. And so, in that situation already they knew I wasn't at fault, but the fact that I had gone up and taken ownership, I feel like even helped the situation more in showing that I was an honest person and that I was willing to take responsibility for things. And so the point I'm trying to make is it's important for us to take ownership, take responsibility for what we have done, rather than pointing the blame elsewhere, rather than making excuses. Own up to what you've done. Be honest with yourself and with others, and though it may not always be a great outcome, again, I feel like you as an individual will feel better about yourself, and it'll help you and others to realize that you are an honest person, an honest character, someone that can be trusted, and someone that, when it comes down to it, people know that what you're going to say is the truth. And it's not always easy to take ownership and to be honest. I've had examples where I didn't take ownership for what I've done, and I got punished for it. I got in trouble for it when the truth actually came out as to what happened. And sometimes the truth doesn't come out. Sometimes people just they're not willing to take responsibility for anything. It's always somebody else's fault. And quite frankly, those aren't people that I particularly enjoy hanging out with, that I particularly enjoy having in my company, because it's always somebody else. It's always some reason as to why they're not to blame for what they've actually caused. So take responsibility. You know, start taking ownership for you, the thoughts, the things you say and do, and hopefully that will change you, and people will see a change within you. So that's my advice for today. I hope that it's been helpful. I hope that you continue to enjoy this channel. If you are, please like this video and subscribe. And thanks for watching today, and I hope that you have a very fantastic day, and remember that you are important and that you can do hard things. I'm tripping over my words here at the end. So I hope you take care, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.